Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video we are going to be creating a UI animation inside of DaVinci Resolve in the Fusion page. So these animations are quite popular nowadays, so let's see how to create this. Alright, so here I am inside of the Fusion page, a blank Fusion composition, and we're going to start off by creating a card. And for that we will add in a background, and let's take a look at it by dragging it to the viewer. And let's go ahead and change the color. We will switch to a gradient. Then let's mask it out using the rectangle mask tool, and we will create a shape like this, and then also increase the corner radius. And in the background we will change the colors because right now it looks kind of ugly. And also let's just change the points over here, something like this. All right, and the one at the top, I want that to be this color over here, a light shade of it. And then the second color, I want the same blue, but let's make it a bit darker. So yeah, something like this. And of course you can, play around with the colors over here. And now what we will do is add in a text. So let's drag in a text tool and connect it to this background. This will result in a merge, and on the text over here we're going to click on it and start typing our text. I'm going to type in profile, and we will change the color to black. So if we take a look at this merge one, this is how it is going to look. And also we will change the font. I'll be using a font called SF Pro Display. So we will change the font weight and use medium, and you can move it around. We will add another background which will kind of add an outline to this whole shape. So let's copy this background and paste it down below. Let's connect this up like so. This background, we will make it solid and make it white. And let's copy this rectangle mask and paste it right over here like that. And then we want to make sure that this is set to, well, on the merge tool, hit Ctrl T so that this white shape is in the background. And now we can expand it. So let's just go to the border width and increase that till we see a white outline like so. All right, now you can increase this even more if you want to, but let's just keep this really subtle for now. The next thing that you want to do is we're going to create our info cards, and for that we will again use a background, connect that up like so. And let's just disconnect this. Let's create it separately. All right, and on this one we will add in the same rectangle mask, only that we will just change its width and the height. So if you take a look at it, this is how it's going to look. We will increase the corner radius to the maximum and reduce height, so it will look something like this. And we will also reduce the width. All right, so let's take a look at it. This is how it's going to look. And for the color, let's go to the background too, and let's select white, but we will not use exactly the white color. Let's just use something lighter shade of it. The next thing that you want to do is grab in some images that I got from UI Faces. If you don't know, we actually have a website where you can download these for free. Download your images, or you can use your own images as well. I'm going to drag in this image and connect that up like so. Let's take a look at it, and we will add in an ellipse mask to this. Right, so let's just increase this so that we have this whole face. And then in the merge 3 we can also reduce the size. So let's just do that right over here, and you can position this to the left. And then let's add in some text to this, and we will use the same font that we used earlier. And for the name, I'm just gonna use a random word generator over here, This is another website. So I'm going to copy the text and paste it over here. And for the color, we will use black. And the font will be the same, which is SF Pro Display. Only that the font weight will be different. We will use regular this time. So take a look at it. This is how it's going to look. While we are here, we will set the horizontal angle to the left. And also let's just reduce the size. So we'll use something like 0.3 looks good. And let's just move it to the left over here. Now what I want to do is I want to add more text, which is going to be the designation of this person. So if I hit the tab key on the keyboard, I can then start typing the designation that I want it to be. So let's say once you type it, you can see that it just overlaps over here. Scroll down, we have tab spacing, expand that, and we can change the position, and we can just kind of put it right over here. All right, good. So now what I can do is I want this editor text to be a different font weight. So I can right click in this text box, go to character level styling. So you can now select the whole word over here, and then we will change it to thin. Just make sure you are in the modifiers tab over here, not in the tools tab. Go to modifiers and make sure your word is selected. Then we will change it to thin. We want to create 3 more of these with different names, images, and designations. So let's just do that. I'm going to copy this, move it over here. You can group it as well. Control D to group it, and then you can rename this as well. And then I can copy this. Oops. Can copy and paste this down below. Double click on it and let's take a look at it. Now this time I want to have a second image, so I can just replace it with the media 1 over here. Now we have a different image. Want to change the name, so let's just use this name over here. Expand the text over here and just replace it like so. And notice how it is aligned properly. You don't have to move things around. If you want to, you can change the position over here. Just pretty cool. I also want to have a text animation on these, so let's just do that. Let's just add the text animations first. I'm going to double click on it, go to my text over here, and I want to add in a follower. If I right click over here in the tools, you can see the follower is not available to us. We have to go to the modifiers where we have character level styling. Right click now and we have the follower option. Click on that and set the delay to 2 for now. And we will also go to the shading tab and have any of these properties animating. So we can maybe do one on position. So let's go to frame 60, create a keyframe on offset XY, go back and let's go to frame 0 and change its position and move it down like this. So you will end up with an animation like this. Let's go to the spline and make sure the animation is smooth. So I'm gonna go to the spline window, select all the keyframes with this icon and hit F on the keyboard to smooth that out. And then with the T key, I can ease it into 100. So it will look something like this. Now you can see the text is kind of outside this box over here. And we can fix this. If I connect this rectangle mask to this text tool, it will mask out the text like so. This is exactly what we want. Now I want to have the same animation on the other text over here, which is at the bottom, and I don't want to repeat this again. So what I can do is I can copy this text, hit Control C to copy it, or you can right click on it and click on copy. Then I can go to the second text over here, which we can also rename, by the way. On the text over here, right click and click on paste settings. Right now it will have the same, again, the same values. All you have to do is just change the name. You can also change the designation. I don't know, I'm saying something like producer or something, and then we can mask it out with this rectangle mask that we have over here. And let's copy this one more time. This is going to be our third member, so let's just rename this to member 3 and replace the media over here. This is how it's going to look. Let's change the name. Now we want to connect this up with the main card, and we have to create this 3D animation, right? So we will, after this merge one, add in image plane 3D, and we will add image plane 3D to this script as well. And copy and paste this over here, so we have that. And now we want to combine all this with a merge 3D. Combine this image planes that we have over here. There you go. So it will look something like this. So after the merge 3D, we will add in a renderer 3D and also a camera 3D, which is this icon over here. So let's just connect that and take a look at this renderer 3D. This will be empty. So we'll have to go to the camera 3D over here, transform, and pull it back in the Z space. Let's animate the camera. So at the very first frame, we will have a camera angle something like let's also right click on animate translate group, and let's go to frame 130, right click again, set key on translate group. So we have same set of keyframes on both these positions, but at the very first frame we will change that. And also let's use this option that says use target. This will kind of focus the camera to a single point, and since that point is on this card, our camera will continuously focus on this card over here. So let's just use that and let's move around. So have fun with this, create any sort of animation that you want. Let's start over here, and then as we progress forward, we will come back to our final position, which is this. Let's go to spline and select all and hit F to smooth that out. Now I want to animate these coming in, so let's just do that. So here we have image plane 3D, go to transform and change the Z position and just kind of move it away from the scene. And I'm going to do this on all three actually, so let's just do that. Set this all to 0.5. Great. So if you take a look at it, this is how it is going to look, right? Now we want to animate this. Create a keyframe here, and let's go forward in time, and maybe at frame 100 we want that back at 0, and do that over here as well. Create a keyframe, make sure it's 0.5 over here, and at frame 100 we want that back at 0, but then we want to change the position slightly. So on the previous image plane 3, it should be at the bottom somewhere over here. The first one should be over here, and we want to create a keyframe position on this, on the Z position. So create that and go to frame 100 and set that to 0. So this is how it is going to look. You can see that there's some kind of glitch over here, but that's actually easy fix for this. So what you have to do is just simply go to the image plane 3D, which is this card, the background card, and you can just push it back in the Z space. So this is negative 0.001. Take a look at this animation. You can see the cards will kind of fall into this place, which is what we want, but then we want to change the layout over here. So we'll select the second image plane 3D and move it down like so, so that we have equal spacing between the cards. And now that we have this design over here, I don't like the color of this info card, the background. So what I'm going to do is go to this background, and I'm going to actually change it. So here we have these three cards coming in, but coming in at the same time. I want them to come one after the other. So all we have to do is just select these three planes, go to keyframe, and just move them forward in time. So we'll select the second keyframe over here and have a delay of like 15 frames, and this one will have a delay of like 30 frames. Right, so they will come one after the other. Right, and then we will smooth that out as well. So let's go to the spline, make sure we have selected all these three keyframes, all these three keyframes of these shapes or of this mesh plane 3D, and then hit F on the keyboard to smooth that out. And you can ease it in as well if you want to. Let's see what that does. You have to keep playing this animation and see how that looks. Yeah, I think that looks good. This motion, these info cards are kind of excited to be in this section, in this card section. So I think I kind of like that feel to it. Then what we can do is add some depth in our scene. So after this, or after this group, we can add in a shadow node. So at this frame, I can increase the softness actually, then also reduce the alpha value, something like this. Maybe we can increase softness quite a bit, something like this. I want the shadow to disappear once it kind of settles down. So maybe right at this frame, it settles down or the motion ends. Let's add that animation over here. So we'll go to the shadow and create a keyframe in alpha over here. And I'm going to move 5 frames forward or maybe 10 frames forward. Let's do 5 and set the shadow or the alpha value of the shadow to 0. Kind of, shows that it's now settled in this, into this, or blended into this background. And I can copy this, paste this after the group 2nd and group 3 as well. But now we need to change the positions or the keyframes over here. So let's see where the second card ends. I think it should be right over here. So to keep playing around with this, I think this one should be right over here, the first shadow. So let's bring that in like that. All right, so let's take a look at this render 3D. It will help if we can just move these keyframes of the image plane 3D even further in time. So if I select this, maybe I can just move it forward in time so that they have a delay, more delay in between these three. So let's just select that and move it forward. Because since our graph, the keyframe graph is, we ease it into 100, that's why we need to make these changes. But if you have a different graph, maybe if you have a value of 50 and 50, then you might want to change the positioning accordingly. So I'm going to play the animation again and again and adjust the parameters accordingly. Maybe this one should end right over here. And this one should end, the third one should end right over here. So let's just move the keyframes like so. I guess that's pretty much it. I can also change the positioning of the text as well. So if I double click, go to my text to keyframes and select the keyframes over here, move them forward in time so that they appear like this. And then the third text, I'm going to select that, expand the text section and select the keyframes and move it forward in time. So yeah, there you go. That's how easy it is to create this animation. Lastly, what I can do is after the render 3D, I can add in another background to this. And we will switch it to a gradient, use a radial gradient and position it something like this and change the colors as well. Hit Control T. This is how it's going to look. Then I will also switch it to repeat mode, and then I can use offset option over here. You can also try ping pong and see what that does. Yeah, ping pong looks kind of cool, so I'm going to use that. So let's go to the first frame, the keyframe on offset, go to the last frame and increase it. there we have it. That's how easy it is to create this really cool UI animation inside of the Fusion page. A small tip, when you render out the animation, and since we have a gradient over here, you might notice some color banding in the backgrounds. What you can do to help that is you can add in a film grain. We'll click on time lock so that they are not animated, and then reduce the size. So just use a small size. Go ahead and render out your animation. That's pretty much it. So I hope this video was helpful. Hope it will help you in your upcoming projects. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.